sucker gonna write. Together we will fight.
The UFC returns to Kansas City on April 26. Since Joaquin Buckley is from the state of Missouri, some people wanted him in the main event against Kamaru Usman, but it's not going to be him. They announced the main card for that fight card, and it is headlined by Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. That's a light heavyweight bout. Number 4 in the division, Jamal Hill, versus number 7 in the division, Khalil Roundtree Jr. This is a fight that has been in the making for a while. They're scheduled to fight before, but it didn't end up happening. Some people think that this is a fast turnaround for Jamal Hill because it's only 3 months after getting TKO'd by Yuri Prochazka. Jamal Hill, though, seems like a guy who wants to get back in there quickly after losses. When he was knocked out by Alex Pereira, he quickly scheduled another fight. Just 2.5 months later, he had a scheduled fight against Khalil Roundtree after getting knocked out by Pereira, but that fight didn't end up happening, but now it will happen. Khalil's coming off a TKO loss to Alex Pereira. Prior to that, he was on a 5-fight win streak, capped off by a win over Anthony Smith. Roundtree beat him in round 3 in 2023. Some of the fan reactions to this fight: damn, that's a quick turnaround for Hill. Khalil is committing murder that night. Why on earth is Hill fighting again so soon? Y'all feeding Jamal Hill to the wolves, so people seem to be picking Roundtree to win that fight. Regardless, it should be an entertaining, striking fight. The co-main event of the card is also a light heavyweight contest. It's Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. That's Anthony Smith's retirement fight. Mingyang Zhang will be a pretty big favorite to get the KO in this fight, but we'll see. Smith's coming off a tough loss to Anthony Reyes. He wasn't mentally there for that fight. He's going to have to be mentally prepared for Mingyang Zhang, who knocks out everybody in the first round. Also on the card is a featherweight contest between Giga Chikadze and David Onama. Onama has a chance to break into the rankings if he can defeat number 11 ranked Giga Chikadze. The card also has a middleweight contest between Michel Pereira and Abus Magomedov. And the main card is also kicked off by another middleweight contest, Ikram Alashkarov versus Andre Muniz. There was a few people raising their hands to fight Justin Gaethje when Dan Hooker pulled out of their fight in the co-main event of UFC 313. But the fight goes to Rafael Fiziev. That's number 11 in the lightweight division against number 3 Gaethje. So huge opportunity for Fiziev to make a big jump in the rankings and break into the top 5 if he can get the win. This is a rematch from a couple years ago, and Gaethje won that fight on the scorecards. 2 judges gave it 29-28 for Gaethje, but 1 judge had it as a draw. He gave the first 2 rounds to Fiziev, and then he gave a 10-8 round to Gaethje, so Gaethje won a majority decision. Gaethje fought 2 times since that fight with Fiziev. He knocked out Dustin Poirier, and then he got knocked out by Max Holloway. Fiziev only fought 1 time since then. He fought Gamrot but got injured, and then was out for a while. Now he's back. This is also 3 rounds and not 5, so Fiziev doesn't have to worry about fighting 25 minutes on short notice. So the main card for UFC 313 is Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev headlining the show. Then you got Justin Gaethje versus Fiziev in the co-main event, 3 rounds. And then Lemos versus Lucindo at 115 pounds. King Green versus Mauricio Rufy. Exciting, striking battle at 155. And kicking off the main card also at 155 is Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. After his win over Melsik Bagdasaryan, and just a few days ago, Jean Silva called out Bryce Mitchell, and then a couple days later, they made the fight. It will be Bryce Mitchell against Jean Silva, UFC 314, April 12th. It's a very fast turnaround for Jean Silva. He took no damage in that fight. Quick knockout victory over Melsik. And he's fighting less than 2 months after that win. Bryce Mitchell is coming off a victory over Crone Gracie. This is a huge fight for Jean Silva. He's one of the most exciting, probably the most exciting rising star in the featherweight division. And this victory over Mitchell, if he gets the victory over Mitchell, he'll break into the rankings as Mitchell's ranked number 13. And people seem confident that Jean Silva will win this fight. First, UFC Murder Live. R.I.P. Bryce Mitchell. Please make Mario Yamasaki ref this fight. John will hit so hard that he will make you see the earth as a globe. Bryce fighting the Lord, Jean Silva. Bryce Mitchell has 6 million reasons to pull out of this. The CTE Bryce will get after this might actually make him smarter. Mitchell got Mustache Man in his corner. Yup, Dana wants Bryce Mitchell murdered on live television. D-Day, please don't stop the fight, Herb. In the words of Dana White, we put the hit out. UFC definitely want to see Hitler's fishing buddy get slapped, and Mitchell might meet the painter personally. Personally think Jean Silva gets the KO, but Mitchell has good takedowns and grappling, so he might make it interesting. And UFC 314 has gotten more interesting with the addition of this fight. This may be the final fight because I think that's 14 fights now. You got Volkanovski, Lopez, Chandler, Pimblett, Krylov, Reyes, Yair Rodriguez, Pitbull, Neil Prates, Janji Doba, Yan, Hooper Miller, Montez Romero, Sumudarji, Raposo, Elkins, Erosa, Dumas, Olasejic, Ige, Woodson, Tulio, Gore, Mitchell, Jean Silva. So yeah, it's a pretty solid card top to bottom. Dennis Bazookia got a 9-month suspension from the Nevada State Athletic Commission for physically engaging with a crowd member at UFC 310. He has the possibility to lower that suspension to 6 months if he does community service. The incident was with Bazookia when he was cornering Aljamain Sterling. They're going back to the locker room. A fan allegedly provoked and grabbed Marab, escalating into a physical altercation as they returned to the locker room. Alex Volkanovski thinks he only has 2 or 3 more fights left in his career, win the belt against Lopez and defend it 1 or 2 more times. Daniel Zellhuber versus Austin Hubbard, March 29th. Originally, Zellhuber was supposed to fight Elvis Brenner, but he pulled out, so now Zellhuber versus Hubbard in Mexico City. Bruno Lopez versus Dustin Jacoby at UFC Vegas 106. That's May 31st at the UFC Apex. In the middleweight division, Gerald Meerschaert will be taking on Brad Tavares April 5th at the UFC Apex. DC was implying that Alex Pereira needs to take training more seriously for his fight with Magomed Ankalaev, so he brought in Action Bronson to train with him. Christian Rodriguez already in Mexico City. He's going to be taking on Melky Costa there next month, March 29th at the UFC Fight Night card, which is headlined by Moreno versus Urseg. BKFC returns to Salt Lake City, Utah on May 10th at the Maverick Center.
What's up, y'all? Just got back from getting the workout in. Got to rehydrate with some grassy water. Good stuff right there. Got organic cane sugar in it to get my blood sugar back up after the lift. Also packed with vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. So a nice immunity booster as well. Rehydrate the right way. Grab some grassy water. You'll be happy you did.